Welcome to Kinky Cafe, Proactive is the Way, where we provide you tools and resources to enhance your mind, body, and spirit. Get ready, folks. Let us nurture you from the inside out.
Hello there, my friends. Today we will be airing a special edition with Eva Moon to chat about dealing with life and unlocking potential instead of our scheduled show, Decoding Human Nature. Due to extenuating circumstances with both of my guests, this episode has been canceled. But no worries, because I got you. You will never have to miss an episode of Getting Nurtured from the Inside Out because I have the ability to reach back into the Proactive is the Way vault. So sit back, get comfy, and let me continue to bring you nothing but goodness.
This is Toya here at Proactive is the Way. Today, we have a special guest joining us, Miss Eva Moon. Eva, if you will, please share with our audience your personal and professional background.
Hi, and thank you for having me on the podcast. I am so delighted to be back. I am an author and screenwriter, a musician, performer. I do one-woman shows. I do music composition. I've had my fingers in a lot of artistic pies over the years. Right now, I'm focusing most on writing novels, but I've kept my hand in the music side of things as well.
Okay, writing novels, what is your genre?
Well, my first novel was a historical fantasy,
Historical
and
fantasy. Okay.
it was called Pinocchio's Guide to the End of the World. And it's sort of Pinocchio meets Raiders of the Lost Ark. It's a big adventure story um, set in Europe, in the years leading up to World War II. About Pinocchio as a human adult, and
Okay.
I used that book to not only write it, I'm hoping to write an entertaining novel, but also to explore issues that I was dealing with after a hysterectomy and double mastectomy and dealing with body image. And to me, Pinocchio was um, he was this character who had been wood and then with a wave of a magic wand became human,
Mhm.
and so he dealt with a really radical body change,
Right.
and we always assume it was happily ever after for him, but I started wondering, was how did he like immediately adjust to being human, or did he like feel like he was the same on the inside and have some imposter syndrome around it? So
Mm.
uh, in addition to being an adventure, it was an exploration into how we view our bodies as they change over time.
Okay, okay. And so historical, and now you stated you're writing are you writing, how many novels are you working on right now? Are you doing them all simultaneously? Or are you
No, I have about three in uh, very early stages, but one that I'm primarily working on that I just finished the first draft, what I call a vomit draft. That's when you're just trying to get everything out on the page as quickly
okay,
as you can so that you have
okay.
something to edit. And it's also another personal exploration, I guess.
Mhm.
Uh, I view for me, a lot of people decide, well, I'm writing this genre or that genre. For me, it's sort of like I have the movie Alien method of writing novels. I write the novel that's sort of chewing its way out of my chest at the moment. I
Okay.
have
That's a
to.
great analogy and a visual I just had in my mind. But that's awesome because and it's interesting you shared that because I had did an interview last night, and my interviewee was sharing that he was writing a novel too. And I was like, this is just fascinating how people can just sit down. When I think about writing a novel, I just get so not overwhelmed, but like I lose energy because I'm like, oh my goodness, this is going to take forever. And
I
then
know.
when you start writing, I'm like, oh my goodness, the content, because I told him that I had started writing a book.
Hmm.
And I was like, I felt like I didn't have enough content. It was just like I felt like I kept running out of content. And kind of what you shared in terms of the alien effect, where it's just eating at you to get out. I was like, okay, yep, it's eating at me to get out, but 1 to 2 sentences is not going to work, like, or 1 to 2 paragraphs is not going to work, more got to get out. And so I was sharing with him how, I said I had to take a back seat because I said I need more life experience or something because this
Hmm.
should not be all of this. The other thing is forcing writing, like I want it to be fluid. When I write,
It's not though. I
it's not
mean,
fluid.
I'm
Oh,
not, like I'm a writer and a
okay.
lot of times I hate writing. I love having written, but
Okay.
it can be painful and difficult. With the current novel that I'm working on is m my way of processing. I mean, my father passed away in December, and the themes that I'm exploring through this book, it's not a literal story about my life, but it's a mother and daughter, and the daughter is dealing with, unresolved issues with her aging parent. And so, it's a lot of times it's really hard to sit down. I actually started a group on Facebook to help keep me on track. It's called the 100-Day Projects.
Okay.
And there's like, I don't know, 150 people in the group now, but um everyone in the group commits to, they have a project they want to do. It could be writing a novel, it could be painting, it could be decluttering their closets, whatever it is that they are having trouble focusing on. And then they pick what we're calling an MVA, the minimum viable action. Like, what's the smallest thing
Mhm.
that you can do in a day that moves your project forward? For
Okay.
me, I said, okay, I'm going to open the file and at least write one sentence. It was just like a
Okay.
tiny little thing, but it made all the difference to, because like how could you say, well, there's too much to write one sentence? It's not too much to write one sentence. It's not too
Mhm.
much to throw away one thing. And then once you start, then you
It-
tend to keep going. You're never
Right.
limited that thing to that minimum viable action, but that having that minimum, first of all, it gives you a feeling of success. Yes, I met my goal.
Right.
So, because when you have a long-term project like a novel, something
Mhm.
that might take several years to write,
Right.
um, it feel and like every day that you're going to celebrate when you finish it, but every day that you work on it, you've made progress, and you should feel good about that. But yet, there's still this feeling of failure because I didn't reach my goal today. So
Right.
by breaking it down into these little tiny minimum viable actions, they have a feeling of success every day. And so having a group of people that we're being, accountable to and sharing our daily progress with has been so rewarding. I've seen, quite a few people in the group who have really stuck with it and made incredible progress on their projects. And in the first, and we're getting towards the end of it now. We're about day 80, I think. And I finished my first draft of my novel last week.
Congratulations.
Just doing I mean, it's garbage, but that's okay. It's supposed to be. The first draft is supposed to be garbage.
Right, right. Okay, okay. Well,
But
garbage maybe to you, but to the unknown,
no, no.
no, no. You're like, no, you read it. You didn't say,
But it's, but there's stuff in there and that you can't edit a blank page. Now
hmm
I have something I can look at it and go, okay, oh, this isn't working or that's missing. I need to put some stuff in here, but at least I have something to work with. It's like I'm making a cake and I've got a bowl full of ingredients now.
right,
Uh,
right. Okay.
so,
Well, that's
so
good.
yeah, I feel really good about that, even though I know I still have a long, long, long way to go before it's done.
Okay. And what has been your timeline in terms of what have you given yourself to
I
to get?
really don't have my only timeline I have in my head is that I don't want to take as long as I did to write the last one.
Okay.
I spent like 6 years writing that one.
Oh, so I don't feel so bad. that's that's all right. And especially if you want to have something of substance,
Yeah.
you want to do it well, especially when it's your first time. I think it's okay. Take your time with it because
And
there's so many aspects that you're
I had
trying
a
to
lot of
learn.
research to do and
Yes.
so
Yes. And that's kind of where I was at. I was like, oh, I need to do more research. This is and it's actually a memoir, the book that I'm working on.
oh,
It's
cool.
a cross between a memoir and my understanding of God. And so I'm intertwining my life and experiences that I've had that led me to my beliefs.
Hmm.
And I just felt like I was missing some components because I grew up Christian. And so I had a very limited viewpoint and I wanted to broaden it, which is why I took a step back and I said, I don't want to address this in ignorance. So that was my whole reason for doing that.
Hmm.
But yeah. So this is a great segue because one of the things that we are going to be discussing, especially this month, is we're going to be taking a look at two different books. And within one of the books we highlighted was by Ray Dalio.
Hmm.
And that book was Principles.
Hmm.
It was a book on principles. And uh, in his book, he talked about how we have to learn how to embrace reality and kind of unlock our fullest potential. And of
Hmm.
course, in our efforts to, kind of better understand how do we do that most effectively, um, I wanted to dive into some of his content and what he shared. And understand some of the predispositions that we lean on that may prevent us or may in the past prevented us from embracing reality and
Hmm.
unlocking our fullest potentials. And then what steps are we taking to overcome all of this? And
Hmm.
so in principle, Ray Dalio, he shares that he compares life to a game in which each problem he faces is a puzzle that needs to be solved. And kind of like what you just did, because I was sitting here saying to myself, where did she get that idea to create a group, 100 day, what did you call it?
100-day projects.
100 day project, right? To help me effectively get started on this initiative, right?
Hmm.
And so he said that that's how he looks at life. He compares life to a game in which each problem he faces is a puzzle, and that needs to be solved. Each time he solves that puzzle, he says he acquires a gem, and a principle is that gem that helps him to avoid the same problem in the future. And so
Hmm.
by collecting these gems, which probably something with your first book, did you have 100 day project
I
group?
did. I did.
You did.
I
Okay.
did do a 100-day project a few years ago when I was
Okay.
struggling with the making progress on the book. That was the first time I started it. And we did a 100-day project, and I actually just by coincidence finished the draft on the 100th day. I
Wow.
didn't plan it that way, but it worked out.
Right, right. So you had already set that in your mind. Now, when you initially started the process, did you start that immediately, or where as you were researching and gathering data, you kind of landed on that idea, or that idea came to
I had
you?
been listening to podcasts,
Oh, okay.
and I heard a podcast on the idea of 100-day projects and breaking things down into little pieces, and that's kind of what inspired me to sort of make it work for me and hopefully and work for other people too. And when you take it beyond yourself
Yes.
and gather other people in,
Hmm.
uh, uh, to it's inspiring to see that the work that they do, and that helps keep me going. Seeing the amazing things that they're doing.
Right.
Uh, so
Not
we're not here alone.
exactly. We don't have to do this life alone, right?
And writing is very solitary. And
Hmm.
I'm an extrovert, so I've got some
Okay.
strikes against me in
So
this
you were
business.
struggling. You was like, can somebody talk to me about this? Oh my God. I appreciate that. And I appreciate your approach. And I think that that's very helpful because you had a challenging situation where, and as we were speaking earlier, writing, it's not something that just comes natural to you.
Hmm.
And so you developed a strategy. And that's kind of
Yeah.
what, Ray was talking about. We have to develop these strategies to help us get through these games, if you will. And then out of that comes a principle that we leverage. Now you're on to which book number is this?
Two.
The second book. Now you're on to your second book, and you're leveraging some of those same strategies to help you get through that process. One of the things he said as well is that by collecting these gems, it helps to improve his decision making skills and ascend to higher levels of
Hmm.
play in which the game gets harder and the stakes become even greater. And how often do you encounter that? I always tell folks every time I'm in a situation, what I've learned is that that situation is preparing me for something greater, a
Hmm.
bigger, a bigger, and I don't want to always call it a problem because maybe sometimes it's something that I fear someone congratulating me or something to that effect. So it could be good or bad, but it's always a learning lesson that helps to propel me, and allows me
Hmm.
to effectively get through whatever situation that is. So I love that strategy. Are there any other strategies that you use as you're going through life? Anything that you develop and that you employ to help you overcome challenges that you encounter, just in general?
Yeah, well, I was really interested in what Ray Dalio said in a different section where he talks about putting himself in positions that will challenge him to the point of failure.
Mhm.
And I kind of wanted to dip into that. I think I think that would sound kind of scary to a lot of people, would challenge yourself to the point of failure. The way I put it is allowing myself to suck. Uh, um,
It's for the
I'm
layman out there.
well, like if you wanted to learn how to play the piano, say, I don't know
Mhm.
if you do or not, but if you didn't and you wanted to learn,
Mhm.
you wouldn't judge yourself by how you played on the first day,
Right.
and you'd be, even on the 1,000th day, you still wouldn't be happy. But the real way to judge is how far you've come between point A and point B. Like if you only pick up things that you're going to be good at
Mhm.
and and only, stick to those things, you don't have that long road to look back at and think, "Oh my God, how far have I come?"
Mhm. Yeah.
So so I like to I keep looking for new challenges, and I don't like I say, I don't think of it in terms of failure, but I'm 68.
Oh, girl, you look
And
good for 68.
thank you.
Good. Well, you guys just see her picture, but yeah, you look good.
Um, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm 68 and I'm kind of feeling, 70 looming on the horizon.
Uh-huh.
And I've been kind of feeling that occasional feeling of like I'm on the backside of the hill and heading down towards
Right.
the end. But when I turned 60, I wanted to challenge myself with something that was scary.
Okay.
Not the was something I thought I could do, but that frightened me. So I decided I was going to climb to the top of Angel's Landing in Zion National Park. And
Okay.
Angel's Landing, it's not a long hike. I think it's like 5 miles around trip altogether, but it's up to the top of a pinnacle. And it's like just switchbacks going up most of the way, but the last half mile is this spine of stone that's about as wide as my dining room table and 1,500 feet straight down on both sides.
There's no way. No. I would have stopped and said, "Hey, girl, see you on the other side."
I'll send you the picture of me at the
Oh
top.
my gosh,
So
that is
that's what I did for turning 60. And
wow.
so I'm
That's
starting
great.
to think ahead to 70 and going, well, what am I going to challenge myself with? So if any of your listeners have ideas of
Mhm.
things, good challenge for 2 years from now, I'm all ears. So I haven't decided yet, but I'm going to do something.
Okay. What's your passion? Are you adventure? Clear hiking is
Yeah,
okay.
I love hiking. I love outdoors and nature. I've jumped out of an airplane. I've um
You are brave. You are brave. I will never.
well,
I
it
know
turns
you.
out it turns out I'm not afraid of heights. If I really wanted to challenge myself to something that really scared me,
Uh-huh.
I'd go down into a cave, like into a narrow cave. I think that just I may
So
have to
you're
do that
claustrophobic.
because I wouldn't say that I'm claustrophobic, but the
Uh-huh.
idea of that much stone like pressing in on me from all sides is, ugh, you know. So I may need to do a cave.
Okay. Well, I,
I'll
I
think
I don't
about that.
mind the cave, but I definitely am not jumping. I am not jumping off of nothing at all. Oh my gosh, that is too funny. Okay, well
But
that's yeah, that's pretty awesome. So let me go back here with regards to life and strategies that you've kind of developed and so you shared that one of the things that you appreciate, and this came from Ray, was the fact that that he challenges himself to the point of failure, because without challenging yourself to the point of failure or even to fail, you really are not pushing yourself to grow, because and this can be challenging in any type of way, from your mindset, physical challenge, mental challenge, emotional
mhm,
challenge, putting yourself in different positions and different environments to see how you navigate that and can overcome that, right?
yeah.
So yeah, that's
I,
pretty. Go ahead.
I liked his language around stretch goals. I think they say challenge to the point of failure. Um, I found that a little off-putting, just the language of it, not the idea of it. The it that didn't, hit me the way the idea of pushing yourself towards a stretch goal, of like reaching for something that's just a little bit out of your comfort zone,
Mm-hmm.
and pushing yourself in a direction that you never thought you would go in with
Mm-hmm.
but I view it with a sense of adventure, not necessarily that I'm going to fail, but that it's not going to be easy.
Right,
So
right.
something I'm doing, I just started like 2 months ago,
Mhm.
and this is like really out of character for me, but I took up boxing.
Like kickboxing in like a class, or
A
actual
boxing
physical
class.
boxing in
It's
a
a class, and
okay.
and we punch. punching bags, but
Okay.
it's like super physical,
Right.
but it feels really good to just smack that bag, let me tell you. But
I
I've
probably
had
need to do something like that, a boxing class, release
it's
some pent up aggression.
yeah, well, it's certainly good for getting out pent up aggression, but aside from that,
Mhm.
lot there's a lot that's very unfamiliar that you have to learn really quickly, like the form, like, what's the difference between a jab and a cross and a left hook and an uppercut, and
Right.
how do you bob and weave, and then so I was having trouble with it, so I started taking one-on-one lessons in
Okay.
boxing, and I've learned like every punch that you maybe it's maybe your fist, but it's coming from your foot in the ground. You're pushing up through your whole body, and so you have
Okay.
to remember to push up from your foot and rotate, you're twisting your body this way and that way, and your elbow. I mean, there's just like
Mhm.
a million things I'm trying to keep in my head all at the same time, and it's so different from
Right.
anything that I've done before that I absolutely suck at it.
Yeah. Well, that's good. So you
But I'm
definitely,
still having fun with it, and I
yes.
come at it, and it's hard, and I'm sweating, and I'm sore, but I come out of it feeling like, "Man, I feel kinda like a badass,"
Well, as you were speaking, something that crossed my mind was that, as you challenging yourself in that way, I just wish that our society was more in tune with that whole notion,
Mhm,
allowing people to have a safe space in environments where it's very new to them,
mhm.
versus and I tell folks all the time, I don't mind being judged at all. I literally want you to judge me. Judging me is all about analyzing a situation, thinking critically about something. But what we've come to do as a society is condemn. So with your judgment, not only are you just, providing me your analysis based on information, logical information. Now you're condemning me. And so I love that you have been afforded within your boxing class, just the ability to be you as you're going through a learning process. And like you said, when that environment is positioned well, while it might be challenging, while you may be like, I suck at this, you're still having fun, right? You don't
Well,
get to
I was really fortunate to find a baboxing club near me. I just by chance, I just walked
okay,
by and thought, "Well, I'll try that."
okay.
But there is such a positive atmosphere. The company that runs the boxing club fosters this a very positive atmosphere, and like the other people in the class after a round, will bump gloves and say good job, and people are very encouraging.
Okay.
And I'm probably 20 years older than everyone else in the class, but
Right, right. Well, hey, it keep you young. I'm gonna tell you
yeah,
that right now. Yeah, I tell my mom, she's 72. I tell her, don't you dare stop working out, because
yeah.
she looks pretty good. She had a stroke though, so her brain is deteriorating.
Oh, I'm so
Um,
sorry.
yeah, I mean, it's life, c'est la
Yeah,
vie.
yeah.
But she still manages to get up, go to the gym and do different things on her own. And I
Hmm.
appreciate that she does that. Now I wish her stretch assignment would be to learn how to eat properly. I think her healing would be much more effective if she would stretch herself to put down the Kentucky Fried Chicken, right after you just had an amazing workout.
Eat a
But
vegetable, mom.
yeah, I'm telling you, I'm trying to get her there. She's slowly. It's so slow.
Hmm.
It's too slow. I'm like, move faster on this. On this, when we're talking about your health, you need to move faster.
Yeah, yeah. No, I feel that, I mean, I'm not just a few years younger than her, and
Yeah.
you start feeling like it's not forever anymore.
No.
There's going to be an end, and it's not. Hopefully, it won't be soon, but
Right. Yeah. Well, they said I think in the
yeah.
U.S. the average lifespan is 86 now, and which is pretty good. I was
Hmm.
my partner who lives in Senegal, his average lifespan is 65 or 64.
Yeah.
And he's 51. I was like, yeah, I mean, do well for yourself, because you don't want your life when it's unnecessary, especially when we have all the tools, the resources, the knowledge that's in front of us,
Mm-hmm.
to live a long and healthy life. But yeah, going back to your stretch assignment, I truly appreciate that you've embarked upon that. I know for me, I think I was sharing with you earlier, I'm literally switching careers.
Yeah, no, that
I
talk about a stretch.
know what and it's so interesting, because when I first got into this in 2021, I don't even know how I got a phone call. Somebody called me and they were like, we are in need every season around May. My company is a virtual learning school. It's a school.
Mm-hmm.
And my kids are in their school. So I was like, did somebody give me my name from the school? I have no idea. But anyways, they contacted me and they asked me to come in to test. Thank God I knew just some basics with regards to technology that I passed. And then they trained me. And so I've been doing hardware and software.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm in information security, where we're helping our clients. And so I've, over the past 3 years, I've just been kind of in that steady state, learning, listening, etc. And then now I was like, okay, Toya, I think it's time. I think it's time you stretch yourself beyond what they've taught you, so that you can develop, and you can craft maybe a career in a new space, and be effective in it. So
Yeah.
it's very important. I agree with Ray, and the fact that we need to get better at that, stretching ourselves beyond what's comfortable. I want to bring up, last month we actually read a book called Failing Up by Leslie Odom Jr., and he's in the entertainment industry.
Mm-hmm.
And his book was about failing. And he shared that he had an opportunity with, what's his name? Billy Porter. Billy Porter, I think is what his
Mm-hmm.
name is. He had an opportunity with Billy Porter. Billy had wrote a play for. He
Mm-hmm.
said that the main character was for him. But when Billy brought him on, he was like, I'm just going to play this character how I feel like I want to play this character. And Billy was like, no, I want you to go above and beyond you. And he was like, no. And he like resisted, and he kept resisting. And then Billy brought him in, or he went to see Billy for something. And Billy was like, just try, right? Just try. And so he talked about, how he went from going in and saying, okay, I'm going to do this, as he shared, to allowing himself to actually fail. And he said, when I allowed myself the ability to fail, or have the thought, not that he actually intended to fail, but just having the
Mm-hmm.
thought, putting it in his mind, he went above and beyond the role. And the director was ecstatic, loved it, and the audience loved it as well. And so, so it's really important that, and Billy gave him the environment. So going back to, how I was like, God, I just really wish we lived in a society where we're just not always beat up for wanting to challenge ourselves and do things that just, are not the norm, you
Well,
know?
you know what I want to say about this, and also about, the career change that you made, is that there's so much power in having a mindset of yes.
Mm-hmm.
And like, this opportunity came your way. It wasn't something you were familiar with. It wasn't something you had thought about or dreamed of. Um, but you said yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes.
And if saying having a no mindset is like driving across the country in the dark with just headlights and no map, and you might get from Washington to Ohio
Mm-hmm.
doing that, and you might, you could get there, but you would never see the Grand Canyon.
Right.
You know,
Right.
you would never know the things that weren't on your path,
Mm.
that weren't in your headlights. And having a mindset of yes, of uh, uh, it opens up greater vistas, and it opens you up to possibly failure,
Mm-hmm.
because things, you may say yes to something that doesn't work out for you, and then
Right.
you move on. You may have failed at that thing, but you're not a failure as a person. You're just somebody who, this is not for me.
Right.
You move on to the next yes, and you uh, uh, there's there's a whole world out there of things that you've never come across.
Right.
And I know that, you and I both have had our eyes on the horizon, and seen a lot of things out in the world. I mean, the internet, shows you things you don't even want to see. Um, but just having this mindset of saying, well, some things come my way. I walk past a boxing club, the door is open. I go,
Mm-hmm.
well, maybe they'll give me a free class. I mean, just yes. And
Right.
someone contacts you and says, you want to take this aptitude test, or whatever it was that you did. You said, yeah, I'll do that.
Right.
And for the Billy Porter thing, him saying no kept him in the dark, just following his own
Bound.
headlights.
Yeah. Like he imprisoned himself.
Yeah.
Self-imprisonment.
Right.
Someone's requesting for you to really come out and really explore, and but you drew back in to imprison yourself. And the moment that you release that and release the idea and just gave yourself permission, the
But
world.
I mean, it feels scary to
Mhm.
try something that you don't know if you're going to be able to do it or not.
Yeah. And Ray talks about that, about our emotions and how we've got to, when we're going through something like a stretch assignment or a challenge, we have to really get better at reconciling our emotions so that we can make and be effective decision makers. One of the other books that we're reading, so Leslie Odom talked about failing. Darius Foroux is another book that we're reading, and he talks about
Hmm.
fear, and how we have to overcome fear in order to win our inner battles and defeat this enemy within. And one of the things that he shared was that fear is the main reason why people never pursue their dreams, their aspirations. Like you said, they could be driving from the state of Washington to Ohio, where I live, and don't realize all of the beauty and grandness of the US on
Hmm.
Route 66 that's available, on your way here. And we miss out on our bucket list, our an opportunity to just really explore and be introduced to something different, to expand our mind and our thoughts. But yeah, that's a good point. Fear, which is also something I had when I was diving into technology. Could you imagine someone in HR and I was like, oh my God, they asked me to do a test. I got to do a test for this. You just can't train me. No,
But
we
you
just
did
did.
it. You did
I
it. You did it.
Yes.
You just do it scared.
Do it scared. I like that. Yes, do it scared. All right. Well, that was perfect. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with me as it relates to our topic, our theme today, embracing reality and just really doing things and developing strategies to unlock our fullest potential? Is there anything else you'd like to share?
We've talked about a lot of really good stuff.
Yes. Good, good. Well, I am
I
glad. Go ahead.
I mean, I can't think of anything, specifically related to the topic that I want to add to what I've already said. I mean, sure, I could probably talk for another hour, but
Of
um
course. Of course.
I've
Well,
I, I just want people to read my book.
yes, thank you for bringing that up. So we do a segment on Tangential Mind, and I would really love to promote your book, and if you could just share with our audience the name of the book again, and then where they can go to get the book as well. And
Yeah,
then also how to get in touch with you.
absolutely. The book is titled Pinocchio's Guide to the End of the World, and it's a rollicking historical fantasy adventure. But it also deals with serious topics of belonging and identity and loyalty and friendship and love. Um, it won some awards. It's available on Amazon
Okay.
and all the major booksellers, including libraries. Um, and if anyone has a book club that wants to use the book in their book club, I love going to book club meetings, and I've done them in person when they're close by, or via Zoom when they're not close by, and let your book club members, ask me anything. I'll be happy to show up and talk. I have a book club guide on my website, and my website is evamoon.net. And you can find links to the book and also videos of my shows and other songs and things that I've done.
Mhm.
Um, and I hope you'll head over there and check that out if you've enjoyed this podcast. So that's the main thing, evamoon.net, and you can write to me. I have a contact form there, and I love getting email. I answer them all.
Okay. Very good. Very good. Well, thank you so much, Eva. I truly appreciate you joining me and sharing your life experiences and expertise for myself and helping me grow, develop, stretch my mind, and also our audience.
Well, thank you so much for having me on, Toya. This has just been so much fun.
All right, folks, that's a wrap. I hope you enjoyed that episode. To learn more about Eva Moon and the books she has written or where she will be next, please visit evamoon.net. That's EVAMOON.net. Up next, the tangential mind. This month is Men's Health Awareness Month. Men's Health Awareness Month is celebrated in June and encourages men and boys to make healthy lifestyle choices to take charge of their health. The month is important for raising awareness and reducing the stigma around men's overall health issues. Some activities that can be done during Men's Health Awareness Month include eating more fruits and vegetables, limiting foods high in calories and sugar, taking care of your heart, and getting screened. To learn more, please visit health.gov or minorityhealth.hhs.gov. It is June, and it is time for the Kinky Cafe quarterly giveaway. This program was created as a way to thank you for listening to our podcast, Proactive is the Way, and participating in the Proactive is the Way activities within the Proactive is the Way group on Facebook. In this giveaway, you could win the following: $100. Yes, folks, $100 and 3 of our featured books highlighted between April and June, or select an item from the KK Cafe collection. So, how do you win? It's quite simple. Subscribe to our podcast on Podbean. You could win by joining the Proactive is the Way group and participating in the Proactive is the Way group by providing a meaningful comment or engaging in any activities. The more that you do, the more chances your name will be entered into the drawing. The giveaway will close this quarter by the end of day at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time on Saturday, June 29th, 2024. And the winner will be announced on Sunday, June 30th of 2024. Please note, if a book cannot be delivered digitally, you must select an item out of the KK Cafe collection. And if you are selected as a winner, you must claim your prize within 30 days. Join us in 2 weeks as we continue with the laws of human nature. I will provide an overview of chapters 8 through 13. We look forward to you joining us. In preparation for our discussions, please visit Kinky Cafe's approved book list to pick up a copy of the book, The Laws of Human Nature by Robert Greene. Details are enclosed in the description. To access all replays or learn more about Kinky Cafe's Proactive is the Way, please visit www.kinkyknotscafe.com. Proactive is the way, my friends. Take good care.